Hi, and welcome to day 4 of Living Your Happier Life. How are you doing with noticing the good, giving out the Academy Awards, and taking at least 20 seconds to savor it? Did you do a little happy dance yesterday anywhere? Did your family think you were crazy? It's okay. Our minds, these are truly miraculous tools. They hold the strongest powers accessible to us. But if they are unchecked, they can end up running the show. And, that old saying that goes, the mind makes for a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. Our job here is to make the mind a beautiful servant of creating greater happiness. And so today, what we're going to look at is how we can use our minds to change our happiness through the power of our imagination and visualization. The happiest people that I've met strongly believe that in their minds they have the ability to make things happen, and they can leverage that by focusing on their mental imaging of what it is they want to create. It's called visualizing. Albert Einstein knew about visualizing. He did it all the time. He actually said imagination is everything. It's the preview of life's coming attractions. So it's our imagination, our visualization that we can use to our advantage. And this is something that professional athletes do all the time. They spend a lot of time visualizing themselves, executing a perfect gymnast doing a perfect gymnastic routine, or basketball players spend a lot of time visualizing the perfect basketball shot. And the reason this works is that our brains can't differentiate between an action that we've actually performed and something that we visualized. In either case, the same processes happen in the brain. And so when we're visualizing, we're strengthening specific neural pathways in the brain for what it is we're visualizing. Let me just tell you a great story about Greg Louganis. Here's a picture of Greg Louganis. You may remember him. He was a famous American diver. And in the 1988 Olympics, everybody knew that Greg was going to win the gold. He was the best in the world. And he went into the games knowing that he was thinking he was going to win, as did everybody else. Now, in diving, there are 10 dives that you have to do. And on the 9th dive, Greg hit disaster. He hit his head against the diving board. Now, he was okay, but the dive was awful, and he got horrible marks. Everybody was disappointed. And I remember very clearly, I was watching that, and one of the interviewers, one of the broadcasters, came to him after that dive and said, "Are you going to go back to your hotel room and watch that dive on video?" And he said, "Are you kidding? That would be crazy. I'm going to go back and I'm going to watch my best dives ever." And that's exactly what Greg did. And the next day he came to the games, and basically, he'd lost his chances of winning gold. Basically, everybody thought that was it. He got up on that diving board and he dove the most perfect dive ever. He got 10s from every judge across the board, and he walked away with the gold medal. He did the almost impossible, and that's the power of visualizing. Now, you have probably already used the power of visualizing in your life without realizing it. Unfortunately, most of you use it in ways that diminish our happiness. Do you ever worry? If you do, then that's what you are visualizing, what might go wrong, and you're actively picturing the worst case scenario or the bad things that can happen. That's what we're doing when we worry. We're engaging visualization to harm us, not consciously, of course. We're pretty good at that, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to shift that around. We're instead going to use consciously the practice of visualization to bring in what we want. Now, in our very first session, we did an exercise, a pointing exercise that showed you the power of visualization. But I'm going to walk you through another practice that really demonstrates this. I was taught this by Chunyi Lin, a master in the Chinese art of Qigong. And we'll talk about him and another practice that he showed me a little later on in the series. But what I want you to do now is I want you to do this experiment with me. I want you to notice that at the very top of your arm, at the very bottom of your palm, you've got some lines. I want you to look at the top line just below the palm of your hand. And I want you to line that up with the line on the other hand and match those up really carefully. And now extend your fingers and put both hands together. And notice if one hand is longer than the other. Likely one hand is longer than the other. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to take the shorter hand of the two and put it out in front of you. Now, if both are the same, it doesn't matter which hand you pick. Just pick one of your hands and put it out in front of you. But for the rest of you, put your shorter hand out in front. And now we're going to do something a little strange. We're going to talk to the hand. And we're not in the way that we normally use that expression, talk to the hand, but we're going to talk to our hands and we're going to visualize the hand growing. So I want you to visualize the fingers of your hand getting longer. And so 8 times we're going to say to the hand, grow. And imagine and picture it as you do, that those fingers getting longer. So I'll count out loud. Grow, grow, grow. Say it out loud with me. Grow. Wonderful hand. Grow. And see it getting bigger. Grow. Grow. See that hand. Visualize it getting bigger. Grow. Okay, good job. Now, line up your hands, those lines on your hands the same way you did last time. And stretch your fingers out and see what happened. Wild, huh? I do this with audiences in about 95% of the room. That has worked for. Wild, huh? So here's the thing. We don't want our minds to push us around by worrying, actively visualizing what we don't want to have happen. So instead, we're going to give our minds useful jobs to do. We're going to put our mind to work to visualize how you want your day to go, how you want your day to feel. So first thing in the morning, I want you to sit for just a few minutes and visualize how you want your day to go and how you want to feel during your day. Okay, so we're going to add that to giving out your 5 Daily Academy Awards and to savoring the good. So we're going to add in that you're going to start your day by actively visualizing how you want the day to go, how you want to feel throughout your day, and feel it as well. It's not just to picture it, it's to feel it as well. So we're going to end today with a quote by Shakti Gawain, who is the author of Creative Visualization. It's a great book. In fact, I wrote the foreword to the 40-year anniversary edition of Creative Visualization. It's been a book I've loved for many, many years. And Shakti Gawain says this: we always attract into our lives whatever we think about most, whatever we believe in most strongly, expect on the deepest level, and imagine most vividly. So spend some time imagining a happy day. And I'll see you tomorrow.